welcome to my 18th Flosstube. My name is Esther and I'm the Danish stitcher. On the 10th of January last year, I uploaded my first Flosstube. That means I now have 1 year anniversary. And I can't believe that a year has already passed. But it has. And therefore I want to celebrate it by having a giveaway. And I have 12 prizes. I have destashed some of my patterns. Most of them are Danish or Swedish patterns. Patterns I have stitched or patterns I have decided I'm never going to stitch. And maybe some of you would like to stitch them instead. But more about that giveaway later. I will also give you a brief life update at the end of this video, because here in this household our lives have changed rather drastically in the last couple of months. But I'll talk more about that in the end of the video. So let's get into it. First, I got some more happy mail. Selina was so kind, she sent me a Christmas card. Thank you very much, Selina. It's highly appreciated and I was very happy to receive it. So thank you very much. I would like to tell you a bit about a challenge I made for myself for this year. It's called I Can Stitch 100,000 Stitches in 2022. I made two hashtags for it. I will put them down here. And the reason for that is that last year I started using Pattern Keeper for almost all of my patterns, and just for the fun of it I tried to calculate, to put all those numbers together to find out, okay, so how many stitches did I actually stitch in 2021? And please bear in mind that I have stitched more than that, because quite a lot of what I stitched last year I didn't have the number of stitches because the pattern wasn't in Pattern Keeper. But last year in Pattern Keeper alone I stitched 169,000 stitches. So it should be easy or achievable for me to reach 100,000 stitches this year. And if I manage to stitch 100,000 stitches, of course, within the year, of course, I will try to see if I can double it and go to 200,000 stitches. But you never know. And I don't know if I will keep my stitching book the whole year or not. So that's why I set my goal on 100,000. So far this year, today, I have stitched 18,710 stitches. That's also because I have a new start, which is kind of an obsession. Kind of like an obsession like my spike portraits were. And it has absolutely nothing to do with spike. But if you follow me on Instagram, you will already know what I'm talking about. But more about that when I'm going to show you my whips. What else to say? Yeah, my whipgo goals is my whipgo board. For January, I have met my goals, because my goals were a nerdy project to stitch at least 1,000 stitches, and since I stitched 12,000 stitches on that project, the goal is met. And then I should stitch at least 500 stitches on an Easter project, and I did 543 stitches on the Easter project, so that goal is met as well. So now I'm just looking forward to see what the next numbers are going to be, the numbers for February, and she will tell us on the 27th of January, so I still have to wait some days. Today I'm going to talk about plans before I show you my whips. Actually, it's not like I do much in the department of planning, since I usually stitch on whatever I want to stitch on. I mean, how do I feel today? What would I like to stitch on today? And in January, I have mainly focused on just 3 projects. I even neglected my Captain John Hart, even though I only need another 6,000 stitches and then it's done. But this is just so typical me. All of a sudden I find a new project, I make a new start, and I just have to stitch on it now. And then I do that, and then I forget my other favorite projects, and that's just me. Depending on the whip go numbers that will be drawn for February, I am thinking about to get that captain finished. Maybe not in whip go, but I have 4 possibilities to choose him for. I mean, I could choose him in 4 different numbers, because if number 6 is drawn, it's a project. I have to choose a project with people. Or if 10 or 12 are drawn, that's a nerdy project. And Torchwood, Captain John Hart, that's a nerdy project. I consider it to be. And otherwise there will be number 13, which is a free project. So, and if not, I can still stitch on him. So, talking about those plans, that, or whatever I should call it, you probably already by now have noticed some slight changes in the my choosing of projects that I want to stitch. Some days ago I went through, because I have a full basket of stuff, of new projects I have kitted up, ready to go the day I want to have a new start. And I went through it, and I noticed that a lot of these projects, I lost interest in them. And I just felt like, nah, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this either. And I think actually I unkitted about 7 or 8 of them. And of course I've asked myself, so why did I lose my interest? I mean, it's not that I don't like the designs anymore. I do. They're just other things I would rather stitch on. And yeah. I got a little taste of it in May last year when I started stitching on Spike, the first Spike project. But after our stitch along in the Advent start along, not stitch along, start along with Stitch Alonga in December, yeah, I think that was what pushed me over the edge, if you could say it like that. As I said before, there are a lot of projects I would rather stitch than those I had kitted up. A lot of those projects are still in my head. It's just ideas inside of my head. So I cannot start them right away, because I have to make the patterns first. Lately I've been watching quite a lot of Flosstube videos, and I have noticed that I like when I see patterns that I don't see on every Flosstube. And I'm particularly grown fond of more or less nerdy or subversive projects. This doesn't mean that I stop watching Flosstubes of... I mean, I do like watching Flosstube videos of people doing samplers, even though I do not do samplers. I mean, I will probably do some samplers, but that will be modern or nerdy samplers. So not samplers in the original sense. But as I said, I still like to watch when people are doing a SAL, modern folk embroideries SALs, fruity SAL or whatever. I mean, it was very interesting to see what kind of fabric people use for it, what kind of floss, what colors, stuff like that. It's very interesting to see. And this change in my way of thinking about what I want to stitch doesn't mean that I'll stop buying patterns. I mean, patterns that a lot of people stitch. If I like a design, I will buy it. But I just think that I'm going to stitch more and more unique patterns. And some of my finishes from the last year are unique because I made the pattern from a photo and nobody else did that particular photo, or I haven't seen it. Anyway, they didn't use the exactly same pattern as I did. And maybe it's because of my age, I kind of like being the only one working on a particular project. Again, it doesn't mean that I will never ever work on participate in SALs. Actually, I am participating in a SAL at the moment. I'm just trying to explain that I'm probably going to stitch less and less of more common patterns and instead stitching more and more nerdy or unique patterns. That's just it. I hope it makes some kind of sense. It did inside my head, but I don't know how I got it out. If it sounds all right after I sat here babbling about it. As I said before, I am participating in a SAL at the moment. I haven't participated in many SALs because I like to stitch whatever my mood tells me to stitch in. It's very hard for me to participate on a SAL because maybe I don't feel like stitching on that particular design. And I have discovered that what I definitely don't like stitching is mystery SALs. I want to know what the design looks like. I want to know what it looks like before I say, okay, I want to stitch this or I don't want to stitch it. And the last SAL I participated in was the Hello Sunshine by Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and I'm still on part 1. I am going to finish it eventually. I also bought the autumn version and I did finish the 2 others, so of course I'm going to make all 4 of them. But I just lost interest. Even though I had a good idea of how the finished design would look, because I knew how the other 3 threes looked. That was wrong. The other 3 trees. That's the way it should be said. Yeah. Well, but anyway, I am taking part in a SAL this time. It's a SAL that will last the whole year, and I know how the pattern looks. I have talked about it before. It's a Galliana Cross Stitch Christmas Window SAL that started on January the 1st. And I will show you my progress when we get to the whips. But already now I will put down the tag here, because if you're stitching it, please join the tag so it will be easier to follow your progress. Okay, let's move on. Talking about the SALs and stitch-alongs, Stitch-along and I have already talked about that we might want to repeat our Advent start-along this year as well, the nerdy Advent start-along. But this time it would probably be a good idea to talk about it a bit earlier than a week before the first Sunday of Advent. Anyway, if we decide to do it, we hope that more of you will participate, because it's the more the merrier, right? Okay, let's move to my whips and my FOs. you might have seen some of the two finishes. If you have seen my finish parade, you have already seen the first two, because the first two I'm going to show you are FOs. So I apologize for that, but that's the way it is. So the first one I finished was the Doctor Who Torchwood. This is on 20 count Ada iridescent, and I'm probably going to frame it. And I love the way it looks, and I love the coverage of DMC 310. I stitched it 2/1 and on 20 count. And if you want to see the back side, not that I usually show the back side, but this is the back side. It would not look this rather clean if it has been a full coverage. I can show you one of my full coverages after. It doesn't look that nice. But actually I do not care that much about my backsides, because it's the front that you're looking at, right? So that was Doctor Who. I also finished my temperature tree. During the year I had my doubts that I would actually manage to finish it, because I lost my stitching book, blah blah blah. But then I had these Zoom meetings with other stitchers, initiated by Vanessa and Umfti, and I managed to finish it. I did the last leaf on the 1st of January because I had to wait to get the data. And now I have Felix meowing at my feet because he's hungry, and he has to wait because I'm recording my Flosstube. I like the way this turned out, and I like the idea of doing these temperature projects. So I'm also doing a temperature project this year, but a different one, and I'm showing you in a moment. Let's go to the whips. I have been working on my star pillow, and this is one of the patterns I do not have in Pattern Keeper. So here I will probably not count how many stitches I stitch in it, because this is mostly a travel piece, or what you call it, a meeting piece. I stitch on it when I'm sitting in a meeting, but I really love the way it looks. And it's on 16 count white Ada, and I'm using the Misosidos Silks Oxide, which is sold out, so I hope I have enough. I have also been stitching on The Night Before Christmas from Cross Stitcher magazine. It's going to be a stocking. This is the tip of the stocking. So I did quite a lot since I have done quite a lot since you saw it last time. I have, among others, been stitching on it while being in hospital, waiting. This is on 16 count Ada called Misty Morning. Here you can see the beginning of someone skating, and there are 4 people skating, I think. And there are going to be some stars and some lamps like this stuff. And down here there are going to be more trees. But it's not Christmas now, and I do have one Christmas project that I'm actually working on at the moment. That's the Christmas SAL, the Christmas Window SAL. But I might start stitching again on this when I want to stitch on something with bright colors, because this has really bright colors. A lot of the stuff that I stitch on don't have bright colors, I just noticed. So yeah, but I like it. and I will try to have it as a finish before next Christmas. But I don't know if I'll succeed. And then comes the problem how to make a stocking, because I've never sewn a stocking, but that's not a problem yet. So I talked before about my WhipGo projects for this month, and I did the Easter project. So this is a very, very small one. I still need to do the back stitching. That's why I have a thread here. That's one of the, I think the back stitching is in 3 different colors. Of course, that's an Easter egg. It's an Easter egg with a crocus in it. Of course, it's a crocus. It's Cute Patterns by Maria, a Russian. I think it was Anastasia who mentioned hers in one of her Flosstubes, and I went to her shop and found these. There are 6 eggs all together with spring flowers in them, and I like this a lot. I did this on 18 count light green Ada, and as you can see, it's very small. So I'm actually thinking about making all 6 of them, and then I have a little spring picture. I haven't decided yet, and that's why I haven't done more about it. And besides, I still need to do the back stitching eventually. Yeah, and then my new temperature project for this year. It's I call it the temperature houses. It is called Meteo, and then the year, I think it's by Privé. So this is how January looks so far. Felix, be quiet. I am doing this on 16 count Ada, and it's fraying. I should probably find my sewing machine and use some zigzag on it. The fabric is printed fabric, and it's called Snow on Grey. So as you can see, I changed the colors of the roof as well. That's because the house indicates the highest temperature that day and the roof the lowest temperature. And as you can see, we had it pretty cold recently. We had -6 degrees. That's cold. I like the way it turns out so far, and I still should get it zigzagged. And now the Galliana Christmas window. I began on January 1st, and so far I have stitched, let me see, 3,969 stitches on it. And it looks like this. It's on 18 count light blue Ada, and I'm using the Misusida silk called Copper, and I love the way it turns out. I think it's absolutely fantastic. But so are Galliana's designs. Yeah. So I'm very pleased with this one. I mentioned the captain before. I haven't stitched much. Yeah, since my last Flosstube, I have stitched quite a lot of him. On him, but in 2022 I've only stitched 811 stitches on him, but I will put up a photo so you can see where I was the last time, and as you can see, I did get quite far, and it's turning out very well. I'm doing this on 18 count opalescent Ada, and it has 150 colors, but it turns out very well. It looks like the photo. Okay, so what is this project that I have been stitching on like an obsessed person? I think you need a little history first, a little story. It's The Witcher. Many of you will know the show from Netflix. Carsten has played the game a year or two ago, I think. And he got the books as a present from his kids, and he has read the book. He has read the books, and he kept asking me, "Esther, let's watch the show on Netflix." And I just, I don't want to. I don't have the time. Blah 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 blah. And then we had this holidays, and I said, "Okay, let's watch that damn show." And I was, damn it! Why didn't I watch this before? I was completely hooked. I am now, I mean, it's 3 weeks ago since I watched the first episode of The Witcher ever. And yesterday I started my third watching of it. And that might sound a bit obsessed, but you know, when you do not know the universe where this story takes place, you do not know any backstories. There are a lot of people, there are a lot of events that doesn't make sense the first time you watch the show. And I noticed that on my second watch that I understood a lot more. And now on the third watch, I've only seen the first episode of season 1 this time around. A lot of things make way more sense than it did the first 2 times. So that's why I'm watching it. Okay, let me show it to you. So far I have done, it's a pattern, it's a picture I made into a pattern using WinStitch. I started it on the 31st of December, and so far I did 12,802 stitches. And here it is. I love the way his eyes have turned out. Look at them. I love it. And you will probably notice my needle minders, Geralt of Rivia, because that's his name. Of course, I had to get myself some needle minders fitting this project. This project has, I think, about 60,000 stitches. I'm on 22%, close to 23% of it. And that's another nerdy project. I forgot to show you the backside, because this is a backside. As you can see, it's a little more messy than the Torchwood backside, but still, it's the backside, right? So this is the front I'm going to watch. So now it's time for the giveaway. My 1 year anniversary giveaway. As I said, I have 12 prizes. The first one, the first ones will be Christmas patterns, but I thought that would be alright because you can stitch them whenever you want to, right? So this is from a Danish magazine. It's from, what does it say? The 1990s. You have the patterns here. And I'm just going to show you what you can stitch. So this one. There are a table runner here with a snowman on it. Quite cute. And advent calendar, what do you call it? A tree skirt, a table cloth, a picture of Santa Claus, other pictures here, and these. So as you can see, there are quite a lot of stuff, of patterns here. And if you would like to win this one, you will write a comment and you will use the word snowman. Please be more than 18 years old, so I can ask for your address. And I hope you will also be a subscriber to this channel. Okay, that was the first one. The next one, it's Swedish patterns. Again, there are Christmas wreath and some smaller pictures. A Swedish Christmas sampler. A table runner. And another, I think it's this, no, I think it's another sampler. An advent calendar. I might not show you all the patterns, all the pictures of the patterns of the designs, but anyway, and the patterns are here. If you would like to win this one, you will use the word Swedish. This is a magazine, a Swedish magazine called Allas Veckotidning, and it's from 1992. It's pretty old. Let's move on. The third one is also a Swedish one, and it's also from 92. You have a table runner, some stuff here. You can, I'm not going to tell what everything is because you have eyes, right? So, and here. And here. And a big Santa. And a mistletoe? No, it's Elex. Elex, not mistletoe. And another Christmas sampler. With typical Scandinavian, at least some of it anyway. And there are 2 paper patterns to put all those designs on it. If you're interested in winning that one, you should use the word JULDUK. That's a Swedish word for Christmas tablecloth. So JULDUK, if you want to win this one. Another Swedish one. It's from 89, this one. Poinsettia, table runner and tablecloth. It's very beautiful actually. And yet another sampler. And different Christmas stuff. And here. As you can see, there are a lot of small projects as well. This is for a box of matches, as you can see. That was, when I grew up, that was very common that, especially for Christmas, on your boxes of matches, you had little cross-stitch designs on them. And some more here. And now I get a problem because now some of the patterns are here, and the rest are the patterns. And there are also 2 of these, but on this one there's patterns on the other side. So it's a bit of a mix. So if you would like to win this one, you will use the word runner. Okay, let's move on to another Danish one. This one is from the 1980s. There's a table runner. If you follow my channel, you will have noticed I have talked about it before, that in Denmark table runners for Christmas are very common. Hence a lot of designs with table runners. And this one is also pretty cute. And these are designs like these are very, very common here in Denmark as well. Or anyway, they used to be. You know, with these little hangers with a little bell that actually works. You can still buy these hangers here in Denmark. And speaking about two more. And this one. And 3 different table runners. And then you have the patterns on this one. And I can see there are a bit of a writing. It's my late aunt who has written on it, but I hope you can live with that. If you would like to win this one, you will use the word julen. That's Danish for Christmas. Actually, it's Danish for the Christmas. Moving on to something completely different. Easter. This is an Easter sampler. I have stitched, especially those little chicken, I've stitched quite a lot of times. And I think I did one of the tulips as well, but I mean, this one is from 79, something. It's pretty old. You have the picture here, and then you have the pattern on another page. So the pattern fits an DIN A4 page. So if you would like to win this one, you will write a comment using the word Easter. Not Esther, but Easter. Haha. If you're into birds, you have to pay attention now, because the next patterns are actually 3 patterns of birds. There's this one. And this one. And this one. And if you win this, you win all 3 of them. And if you would like to win this one, you will use the word birds. Okay, the next one is a tiger. And actually I did stitch this one. I did it in 91. Yeah. This was the way I used to finish my projects. I think I'm going to change it and put it into a better looking frame. But this is how it looks actually. So if you would like to win that one, you will use the word tiger. The next one is this little cat. I do like cats, but I know, and this is cute, but I know I will never stitch it. So if you would like the pattern to this one, you would use the word cat. So these were the patterns for the giveaway. Almost. Paper patterns. Then Galliana Cross Stitch has been so very kind, and 2 of you can win a PDF pattern of Christmas window, I put up a picture. The one I showed you before, that's my whip. So you can participate in the Christmas Window SAL. If you would like to win one of those PDF patterns, you will use the word Galliana. Good. And the last prize is, I still want more of you people to get to know Mrs. Cedar's silks, if you don't know it by now. As you probably know, I love her silks. And therefore, I will give a gift card of 25 euros to her shop on mrscedos.com. So if you would like to win 25 euros to buy silks, you will use the word Cedas. Good. So that was my giveaway. Now it's time for Welcome to Curator's Corner. I do not have a lot to show you today. That means I haven't bought that much. But I did buy something big. And you might think, and what on earth does this have to do with cross-stitching? Well, you see, it's a machine that can polish. I'm not going to take it out. Because when you, like me, like needle minders, and you very often come across very cute pins or button badges, then you have to have the right tool to be able to turn it into needle minders. So therefore I bought this one. And in order to make needle minders, you also need magnets. So again, I bought magnets. And then some of you have seen them. Most of them are here. These are my latest needle minders. As you can see, there's some from Buffy, but there's also up here Danish-Stitcher's whip. I thought that would be so fun to have one like that. And another one from The Witcher. And this one I just found so funny that I needed to have it. And most of these, except the round ones, they were all pins before. No, that's not true, because they were just coins. I found a shop in Ukraine? No. Lithuania, I think. One of these Baltic countries who made these coins. And it came within 10 days? A week? 10 days? Very fast. So these were my new needle minders. Apart from that, I bought some patchwork needles. And a tassel. I know I have a tassel maker. I haven't tried making tassels. I haven't succeeded in making tassels yet, but it's more than 6 months ago since I last tried it. But this one, I love the color. I haven't got an idea. I haven't got a clue what I'm going to use it for, but eventually some finish of a kind. I also bought some thimble pads, because when you, as I do, stitch in hand, your finger, the skin of your fingers, you need something to protect it. When you stitch as much as I do, very often I stitch more than 1,000 stitches a day. So, and I forgot to mention while doing Curator's Corner, and that's one of the good things about editing, is that I can put in a video here, because one of the things I actually bought as well was a real program. You know, I talked about all these ideas I had for designs, and I have been using Stitch Fiddle, but Stitch Fiddle, and I even have the paid version of it, but it's not good enough. And it doesn't have the first 35 numbers of DMC. So I decided to invest in WinStitch, and I'm going to show it again, right? The Geralt of Rivia is the first photo conversion I have made in WinStitch. And what I like most about WinStitch when talking about photo conversion is that I can set the max number of colors. Because I tried first to do this in Pictopad, and it had 150 colors or something like that again. And I mean, this is pretty confetti heavy, even though it only has 60 colors. But 60 colors, that's manageable. And that was all for Curator's Corner for this time. Yeah, and now this video is coming to an end. I said that I was going to give you a brief life update, which I'm going to do now. And if you're not interested, you can leave now. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll return. For the rest of you, if you follow me on Instagram, you will probably have seen that I have been to hospitals quite often lately as moral support, because in December Carsten was diagnosed with cancer. Yeah, so he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, a cancer that has unfortunately spread to his loin. He has got his first injection of hormone killer something, and he is soon going to start radiation treatment. This is of course very hard, and I guess that's one of the reasons why I tend to get quite obsessed with a project like Geralt of Rivia, because it keeps my mind of thinking. As you can probably imagine, this is not easy for me to tell you, but I think it's important that you know, because I don't know what the future will bring, and it will probably maybe affect my Flosstube. But I'm not going to talk about his illness in my coming forth Flosstubes unless there have happened something major, because this is a channel about cross stitch and everything that has to do with my this all-consuming hobby. And but I think it was important to tell you. And I'm really glad that I edit these videos, because this has by far taken the longest time to record this little piece of video. As soon as I'm done recording here, I'm going to start editing my finish parades, I think. Or maybe I will go and spend some time with Geralt. I don't know yet. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Flosstube. Not the last part of it, but the most parts of it. And I hope you will participate in my giveaway for my 1-year anniversary. And I'll see you again. Bye.